All right. Thank you for joining us today for this What's Up Wednesday live edition. It is in gratitude in our attitude today. We will be having our guests here live with us on Zoom and also on Facebook. So if you're joining us on Facebook, thank you for taking the time out to listen to this. What we hope is an hour of power to get you ready to get into your holidays, perhaps with some renewed ideas, some innovation, and certainly some gratitude. So one of the ways I want to start today is by something I just recently read. Sam Parker, who you know, we've done Smile and Move videos with him before for some of your schools and staff. We found a really new, cool kind of saying, and I think last year we all felt much more essential right about now than we are feeling right now. And he came up with this idea of defining the adjective essential versus non-essential. And of course, essential by definition is of the utmost importance. And we at Pasonic give thanks for you because that's how we feel about you. And we are really just glad you're taking the time out to recharge yourself. I think all of us need to hear thank you and that you're important. And we are going to say that today among a lot of other fun facts and hopeful innovation and inspiration for you. So what he says is we've all got 168 hours each week. He hypothetically says if you sleep 7.5, and I know some of you are laughing, like you're blessed if you can get 7.5, that leaves about 115 waking hours. So investing 40 to 45 hours of those waking hours of work, most of the time, most of us work a full-time job, and it's been more than full-time with some of the management of the back-to-school issues that we've had. That reflects about 35 to 40% of our life. That's a big chunk of time. And Sam Parker uses this analogy to tell us we have a choice with that time. And it makes sense to use that time trying to be as essential, valuable, enjoyable, contributing as possible. And it makes sense to lose as few moments as possible to evading that effort. And so a more enjoyable day for everybody is the goal. But the goal today is for you to remember we thank you for your essential work and what you do. So today we're going to cover some cool topics. Of course, we've got the whole team here, plus one. We're excited, maybe plus two. So we always have an industry spotlight, but we also have one of our interns. So lots of folks here today to really hopefully give you some really good content and inspiration. Today we will talk about making your menu do the work with a focus on breakfast. We've had a lot of schools kind of talking about what they're seeing happening along the lines of out of stocks and participation in breakfast. So we decided today was a good day to kind of hunker down on that topic. Sarah's our safety girl, but surprise, surprise, she's also going to be able to talk about the caught doing something good. So we're letting Sarah out of the box we put her in, which is all things food facts and safety. And she's going to talk about some of the fun work she's doing. Also, we're obviously going to practice what we preach, talking a little bit about information relative to breakfast and marketing breakfast and the importance of breakfast, care of our wonderful intern, Ava. We would be remiss if we didn't talk menus and recipes. We are Pasonic partners, and that is what we talk about, wholesome meals to fuel healthy lives always and especially during the holidays. So Marge will take us through some menu makeovers and inspiration. And then last but not least, many of you know and love our friend Dixie. She is not a Cholula anymore. She is a Kodiak cake. And we are so pumped to talk about some of the Kodiak opportunities that we are really looking towards bringing to you all. So I'm going to pass it over to Sarah, and I hope you guys enjoy.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope that you're all having a good day and enjoying. It's a little warmer here in Ohio today than it's been. Enjoy it. Snow is coming again. So going to go over some fun food facts and safety. I'll try to make this as brief and painless as possible. Just a reminder, it is the middle of November and we're getting really, really close to the holiday season. If you have not gotten a visit from your local health department to do your fall health inspection, please reach out to them and let them know. I know there's a lot of new faces at the health departments in the counties that we work in. So just reach out, keep that documentation for compliance reasons. Food safety training for your new staff. So I know I've seen some new faces in the building, some new subs. I think people are finally ready to get back to work. So just something to think about as we move forward, that those people are at least getting very basic level 1 food safety training. If you have any questions or concerns about that, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help support your district with that. It's really, really important that they get basic training on hand washing and food prep and storage and those sorts of things. And then just something that I want to remind people as we've gotten our October claims in, you know, a full month. I think most schools only had about 1 day off in the month of October. The claims were pretty good because of all the participation, all the little kiddos that we're getting to feed this year. To take time to think of the money that you're making, you know, if you're have a positive fund balance, what can we do to invest back in the program? And it doesn't have to be crazy. I know if you've not typically had a positive fund balance, this might be a new experience and you're wanting to make sure that you don't overspend that money and keep it for a rainy day, but we can only have 3 months operating costs in our 006 accounts. So something as we were in doing these taste tests that we'll talk about later today is small wares. So there are things that you can purchase like spatulas, mixing bowls, scoops. So if those are things, maybe have your ladies make a wish list, a really cool gift to give them when they come back from winter break that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it is a way for you to use some of those funds. SWEPC did reallocate to all of us, so please make sure that you're going in and checking your thermometer. And January is the time to move more funds to DoD if you need them. I know as we struggle with out of stock, some of the commodity items have been hard to get. So to ensure that we're properly balancing our budget, I would highly suggest that if you are running out of DoD funds, that you think about reallocating some of the money that you have to the DoD. Your verification collection report, that is due in February, so please make sure that you're completing that and getting that uploaded into KERS. All of the same deadlines apply. There was no waiver for the verification process this year. I'll say that one more time. I know there were like 100 waivers this year. There is no waiver for the verification process. So if you did any income eligibility forms this year, you do need to process verification and complete your verification collection report. And then last week on November the 8th, the USDA sent out a survey talking about supply chain and some of the hardships that we've had. They want to hear from all of you. So if you did get that in your email, please make sure that you take the time to let them know. Those are the heavy hitters, right? I mean, that's the USDA. So they want to hear from us and what's going on so that they can help us with resolution. So please take time to fill that out. This is what the verification collection report looks like, if you've forgotten. So please make sure that this gets filled out again and gets uploaded to KERS by February 1st. So these are some important dates as we look ahead. So USDA food ordering, making sure that if you are doing that, that you are doing so accordingly. November of this year, there's some entitlement reconciliation. So make sure again that you're checking that thermometer and that you know what you want to do with those funds. And then for December 15th, I know that the co-op sent out October 15th. December 15th is going to be that final opportunity for you to be able to sign up for the co-op for the 2022-2023 school year. Yes, we're already talking the 2022-2023 school year. Say that 5 times fast. It's a lot of 20 somethings in there. And then there is a foods available list as well that's going to be for the next school year. So you can check that out as well next month. And then you should be getting emails. I know I've been getting them for some of my districts for the USDA foods that are being delivered and dropped off and available. So just make sure that you keep track of those numbers and that you are trying to order those items. Again, just helping to balance that budget. And then this is the ODE and USDA webinar highlights. Maureen was able to sit in on this week. And we got a little clip from Brian Davis. He did answer and said, you do not need a waiver to go off bid. There's already flexibilities in place to allow it. So if you need to order something that is not typically a bidded item for your GPO, that is okay. Okay, I know we're kind of in a place where we all need to get things that we need to get. The USDA understands that, ODE understands that. Okay, so no need to reach out and get a waiver for that. The flexibilities are already in place. I mean, there are 100 waivers who can keep track at this point. There's also some resources here that we have for you all that you can check out the SNA Ohio for a vendor list. And then the second one looks at so that first one for SNA is going to be keeping your procedures for your off-bid items. So it's not the wild, wild west. Yes, they're giving us flexibility, but please keep any emails, invoices, receipts, anything that you have for the purchases that you're making, so that if those would be called into question in a procurement review, you would have the necessary documentation for those. And then the second URL that you'll see there is talking about staffing. So I know a lot of us have struggled with staffing this year. And this kind of talks about the allowability of bonus pay or any kind of incentives that you're giving, that this is legal. So I know most of our schools, the staff are union workers. So we all get a little nervous about that. So if you have any questions, this is a really good resource for you to be able to go to. If anyone if your administration needs more clarification, this again is a really great place for you to be able to go and find that. All right, so now I'm going to pass it to our intern, Ava. She's from Case Western to talk to you a little bit about how we are practicing what we preach.
Hi everyone, as Sarah said, I am a dietetic intern, and as a dietetic intern, I've had the opportunity to see kids in a variety of settings throughout the last year. That's including schools, clinics, and hospitals, and it's been really amazing to see the large impact that the school breakfast program and the breakfasts that each of you are making every morning have on families. I've had countless conversations with kids and families about how school breakfast can be part of a plan to help manage and prevent chronic disease and overall keep these kids as healthy as possible. So it's been really amazing to see some of these practices come to life. You can go to the next slide. So part of the reason why school breakfast can be so healthy is that it helps increase intakes of fiber, calcium, vitamins A and C, riboflavin, zinc, and iron. It also helps kids keep a healthy weight. So believe it or not, individuals who eat breakfast tend to take in fewer calories throughout the day. And also it helps improve alertness, memory, concentration, problem-solving abilities, test scores, and school attendance and mood. So this this slide just highlights the benefits that breakfast can have throughout the school day and beyond. So school breakfast can dramatically impact these kids. 17.5% higher test scores on standardized math tests. Kids that eat breakfast attend 1.5 more days of school per year. And also they're 20% more likely to graduate from high school, which then results in $10,000 more earnings per year, which is pretty exciting for them. You can go to the next slide. And again, this further emphasizes the impact that school breakfast can have on the nation as a whole. So if 70% of elementary and middle school kids who are eating free or reduced lunch were also getting that as breakfast, nationally, there would be 3.2 million more students per year achieving better scores on standardized math tests, 4.8 million fewer absences per school year, and 807,000 more students graduating from high school. Now this is a breakfast school card, and what it's showing is the ratio of free and reduced price school breakfast to lunch participation. And essentially what it's saying is that there's a disparity between breakfast participation and lunch participation in those kids who need that meal the most, which is really a problem and a public health issue when you think about those benefits of school breakfast that we just discussed. So we have some ideas of how to keep getting kids excited about the breakfast that they're going to be eating every morning and have parents feel good about the breakfast that they'll be having on the next slide to continue doing that. So we have some ideas to boost the nutrition, as I said earlier. So ways to increase the protein include eggs, cheese, Greek yogurt, breakfast meats. Pasonic also has some really great hummus recipes, which might be something that you don't think of, but there's a snickerdoodle hummus as well as a chocolate hummus. And also when we think of breakfast, we often think of fruit, but also we can be thinking about vegetables. So there's the option to do salsa with burritos, a breakfast pizza, bowls, omelets with some of the veggies listed here, as well as sweet potatoes. And this last slide is just a link that I believe Marge will be putting in the chat to test your knowledge on school breakfast. So not only the benefits of breakfast, but also some meal crediting for school service staff.
Well, I'm going to jump in here and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Ava has been with us. Friday is her last day with us, and she's graduating. So I want to take this opportunity to express gratitude that we at Pasonic have continued our mentorship and pay it forward by trying to really teach young budding professionals that school nutrition is a great career. So Ava has worked really well, and there's more Ava-isms throughout today with her work with our tri-days. And we are certainly very grateful for our ability to mentor interns, and also grateful to all of you who have allowed us to continue to visit you and come on site, right? So we think about the impacts that we've all lived through the past 2 years. Near and dear to my heart, I have a senior at OU. These kids have really worked hard to finish their education in a really hard time. So Ava, kudos to you. Thank you for that breakfast inspo. I know our folks are going to be telling their admin teams to include some nutrition nuggets about breakfast in all of their newsletters. Again, reminding our folks breakfast is free if you're seeing that disparity between participation at lunch and breakfast, and then really hit them where they want to pay attention, which is those kids are going to get higher test scores and be more academically successful with a great breakfast. Some of you have also struggled a little bit. We've heard and listened, and hope this mini presentation, again, will be provided to you. Slides can be used to help talk to your parent-teacher association groups or your parent social media outlets in your district to really espouse to any concerns that folks might have about the quality of nutrition at breakfast. And one of the things we've heard is some backlash about what we're offering. And so thinking about ways to maybe add those bistro boxes, add some protein options, add some Kodiak cakes, we'll talk about that later, are all ways to really convince your community that not only is this a free meal, remember, if you can't give it away for free, Pasonic will help you figure out why. And one of the things we know is just understanding and communicating these benefits and really talking through some solutions to get a balance on your menu that is not only going to help you with some out of stocks, but also help with the perception of the quality and support you offer, not only at lunch, but at breakfast. I'm going to be quiet because I told my team, keep us on time today. And Maureen's usually the gift of gab, but I'm going to hand it over to Marge. We know she does awesome work in our Healthy Pro system. And Marge, take it away on our menu makeovers and inspiration.
Great. Well, thank you. Happy hump day, everybody, and on to a shorter week next week. So we just wanted to talk about, we know that some of the center of the plate protein items may have been in short supply and harder to get. So perhaps this is the time to try to think about some simple scratch vegetarian entree options. And we have a lot of vegetarian options in our Healthy Pro recipe database. And this is just highlighting some of them. I would venture to say that a lot of these, even kids who aren't necessarily vegetarian, are really gonna enjoy. So I know we've done the vegetarian chili at some of our culinary trainings and have gotten great feedback about that. Maybe trying more of a scratch made macaroni and cheese. There's a lo mein that instead of animal protein in it uses edamame as the protein. So these are generally going to be a less expensive option and more readily available, and provide some added health benefits on reducing the meat consumption. So another thing that we wanted to draw your attention to is, resources that manufacturers have. Of course, manufacturers really want you to utilize their products. So you would be amazed if you go to some of either asking your manufacturers or going to some of their websites and looking at, this happens to be from JTM, but a lot of the major manufacturers, when they have product, they want you to use it in a variety of ways. So you would be surprised at some of the innovation and versatility of recipes that they have very readily available on their websites. We, of course, have a lot of these also in our Healthy Pro database. So if you're getting something like this particularly, like I said, features the JTM, their kettle crafted culinary solutions. if you have one of these items maybe in your inventory and you're looking for ways that you can use it in a variety of applications, just let us know, and we would be happy to, share any of the recipes that we have that utilize these options. Or like I said, try to just search the manufacturer and look at for some of their recipes that they offer. Okay. So talking about marketing and pivoting, many of you have been familiar with the Pizza Bagel Lady pizza bagels that we've used and kids really enjoy. It's a local bagel that is made like a pizza. Well, Terry, I always feel bad calling her the Pizza Bagel Lady, but that's the name she gave herself. So she's comfortable with that, known as the Pizza Bagel Lady. She has pivoted and had heard, Cine Minis are hard to get in. So what can she do to kind of fill that gap for a similar flavor profile that kids like? So Terry has taken that pizza bagel recipe and her magic and knowing how to work with dough and added some, cinnamon sugar and made a much better local version, less processed option that's readily available in stock. So if you have interest in these, we would encourage you to reach out to Terry, the Pizza Bagel Lady, and her email address is right there. And let her know that you have some interest in these and maybe even trying some, particularly you're trying to find things to replace some of those breakfast items that have been hard to get. So just reminding you again that we're here to help. We have our support desk that we check pretty frequently throughout the day. So if any of the recipes, I know sometimes we present these recipes just with recipe numbers, even if you just want to look at the recipe and see if it's something that might interest you, let us know that by submitting a request to our support@ppllc.info. That's an email address. And just say, can you share with me all your, recipes that utilize the JTM beef crumbles, or I noticed that you have some vegetarian options that use beans. What can you share some of those? And you're not committing to putting them on your menu, but look at the recipe and see if it's something that I think sometimes the titles of the recipes sound more challenging to make than when you actually look at the recipe and the ingredients. They can be pretty easy. So just reminding you so that we can best efficiently make any changes to your menus that you need. For those of you who use our Healthy Pro services, using our support ticket, putting in what recipe item, recipe number, any GFS numbers, that's always helpful so that we can accurately program your menu, especially as different items are available. We're replacing one item with another item. That GFS number is helpful. Letting us know what the date of the menu is that you wanted changed. What particular menu you're talking about, so we make sure we're changing the correct menu. Are there items on your menu that you want removed as we're adding things? And then is this just a one-time change, or do you foresee that you want this to be an ongoing change? Any of that information in that support desk request is going to ensure that you get done what you want quickly and efficiently. So I will pass it back to Maureen. These things just keep building on each other, like one topic leads into another. So she's gonna talk about menu engineering with Tina.
Surprise, I'm here in the middle of the day, in the middle of the presentation. It's wonderful to be surrounded by such great people and talk less, because you guys hear me talk a lot. But one of the one of my favorite reasons we're doing kind of a new section called menu engineering is because we're talking a lot about solution-focused discussions, living in abundance, I like to call it, as opposed to living in feeling like we're always fighting against out of stock. So what you saw today, a little snippet from, the ODE Cliff Notes that Sarah talked about, JTM put a really nice chart together, downloadable on your KERS download forms, is that USDA presentation where she presented information about her JTM products in a little more granularity. Again, not just promoting JTM, but talking about tapping into the manufacturer resources. We say it takes a village, right? We always say that. And knowing that, like, for instance, those kettle crafted culinary solutions are typically stocked well right now, and some of their portioned meats and their portioned packs are not. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And so what I like to call menu engineering is, instead of feeling like you're like pulling the slot machine in Vegas and trying to get your out of stock email back from your vendor and figuring out what your next move is going to be to transition and pivot your menu to get food to kids, we want to talk a little bit today, and we will continue to talk throughout the new year as we look at our menus. How can we engineer for success? And so Tina is my boots on the ground, brains behind what makes efficient operations happen. I'm going to be quiet and let her kind of take over right now and go through some of her ideas of how we can use, again, key performance indicators. You hear us say KPI all the time, and metrics to really help follow some guidelines, perhaps as maybe you have a little bit of a lull during the holidays, to think about how we can start January 2022 with a really well-engineered menu. Tina, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Heard about the Matrix. I'm sitting there. When I heard Matrix, I'm thinking back Keanu Reeves type of movie. Didn't know what a Matrix was till, here, let's look into this. And let me tell you, it being in food service for as long as I have, this was a very eye-opening tool to use. So went in, looked all about a matrix, how it does, and what it does is it guides us, gives us 3 different guidelines we want to look at as we're looking through our menus. The first one, you want to identify what your issue is, what items are on your menu that are causing an issue. Number 2, you want to determine what that issue is, fix the problem. How are we going to do it? Different ways, get yourself several different ways on how we can possibly fix the issue. And then thirdly, simplify the menu. Do we simplify our menu, or do we restructure it? Do we do both? So what I've done is I've gone through several different types of matrix that we've done. The first one is on the high school menu. I've gone through, high school menus are basically made of bar concepts. So I've looked in here, and it has different ones. Like you have our superstar, who is a low cost, high participation. We have our pricey picks, which are a high participation, but also kind of highly costed out. Then we have our, how do we improve? This is our low cost and low participation. And then we have, do we remove it or improve it, which is a low participation but a higher cost. So these are menu items that you want to look through, and we have, like, I have a generic matrix that if anybody wants, we'll gladly send these out to you to kind of set it up in your own way. So for the high school one, I went through and I picked our Philly cheesesteak bar for this one. It's a high participation, but it's also a high cost. So step 2, I would look at it. How do I make this more cost efficient? Maybe I'm using commodity meat. Maybe I'm using DOD veggies where it's free, using commodity cheese sauce. These are ways that you could possibly change that to make the cost go down. And do I simplify it, or do I restructure it? Okay, simplifying. We pre-cut our veggies the day before. We offer 1 sauce instead of 2 sauces. This is something we do with our bar concepts. We tend to sometimes put way too many options out there, and it increases the cost of that. So then our next one I went to was the elementary matrix. We did this. Again, in each district, every building in a district, all is different. You can't use them all the same. What the kids are eating at the elementary school is not what they're eating at the high school. So I took the elementary ones, and we have like our mini corn dogs, we know is a low cost, high participation. We have our French toast and scrambled eggs. It's kind of a high cost, but also high participation. What I came here with is our low cost and a low participation. Now I want that pulled pork. It's cheap. What can I do to get those kids to eat that pulled pork every day? or on the weeks that we put it on the menu. So how do I make it more popular? You think about the sides that you put along with it. With a pulled pork, make it a barbecue day. You know, barbecue beans, your French fries, your coleslaws, just like they would see in the summertime, possibly. Make it a theme day, as you'll see later with my little Jess. You know, wear cowboy hats and bandanas, you know, pull it out. Make these elementary kids excited to be in and come in and eat on your pulled pork day. And then you simplify or restructure it. Maybe you do offer a barbecue chicken as well as pork. Then this way, the kids who possibly can't eat pork will come in and they'll eat it as the chicken. So the third one, we did our middle school. Again, everybody loves the middle school kids because they are in that little range right between, they still want to be kids, still want to have that little breakfast, but they also want to be older kids and have their taco bars. So on theirs, we're going to go through, we'll see, they have chicken nuggets is a good one. Pizza, little pricey at this stage right now because we're trying to get whatever we can for pizza because of out of stocks. So what we did with the middle school one is we identified the problem as pizza. It's a high participation, but right now it's kind of high cost. So how can we make this more efficient? Best way to do it is make it from scratch. I know we preach this to you guys all the time and you think these women are nuts. There's no way we can make this pizza. You know, there is no way with the participation we're doing, we can do pizzas. Well, here you do. Yes, we're making it more cost efficient by using a commodity cheese and sauces. We're using local dough balls. You get your frozen commodity crusts. And a way what we do is you simplify or you restructure it. So that day that you're making pizza, you have pizza as the only thing on your menu. We're not offering them, you know, cheeseburgers, hamburgers, salads all that day. We're just doing pizza because we know those kids want that pizza. And then what you do, maybe you start the day before. You start doing your doughs. You make, you know, get your doughs to rise, get everything set up. And then this way it'll simplify it and you'll do it. You'll have no problem making those pizzas for 500 students. Everybody's all hands on deck on pizza day. They're not worried about doing everything else. So I did one more little kind of generic matrix just so you can see what you want to do is you want to get your menus out. You want to pull things out and look at them. Think of which one is your best one. What is your low cost? What is your high participation? Bosco sticks. We know across the board, every kid, elementary to high school, love the Bosco sticks. Your walkaway taco day is always a very good day, but it can be costly when you start thinking about the different things that you're making along the way with it. Now we'll remove it or improve it. Loaded chicken nachos. You know, for some reason kids love taco day, but they don't like a loaded chicken nacho day. Why is that? So that's what we put into the matrix and I went in and we figured it out. Loaded chicken nachos, low participation, but costs a lot because we got all the prep and everything we're doing. So how do we make this? Do we make it popular or do we take it off? So that's what you want to do. You want to think, do you want to make this a popular item? Is it worth going for? Is it worth keeping on your menu? Or if it is, then you have to figure out what you're going to do. Or is it not worth it? It's not worth it. You take it off your menu and find something to find in its place. And there you go. You have chicken. What else you can do with your chicken? There's always something to do with grilled chicken. So make chicken make a chicken casserole. You do your chicken fajitas. You make your wraps. You know, find something to do it. And then by simplifying or restructuring it, you can change your type of meat. Maybe it's not a chicken that they like. Maybe we put sloppy joes. You do some kind of sloppy joe over your nacho. We all know that JTM has the sloppy joes in. You know, maybe we do go with taco meat versus, doing a taco day. You do your loaded nachos with tacos. Add items to make it more popular. Maybe have to make a fresh salsa, make a cowboy salsa, throw it on in there. Just think of different items that are going to make it more attractive to your students. So like I said, if there's anything you want, if you want like a generic matrix, we'll send it out to you. Just send us a message and we'll get it to you.
Tina, I am proud of myself and you. First of all, always proud of you, proud of the teamwork you do at Woodridge. I'm certain these examples were taken from your teamwork at Woodridge, but always know that, the pool of what we're ordering is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And what I love about us, you've heard me say it a million times, is we are not competitive restaurants. And so some of these already done assessments and pivots are something that School A will easily share with School B. And so you are part of the Pasonic family. Certainly, I know if you called Tina and talked, any of those items she just mentioned and what she's doing in terms of popularity assessment, prices cost of food, but it's also cost of your labor and cost of your time logistically. So we talk a lot about really valuing the entire process to really engineer that menu to make it work for you. And when you have a little bit of a lull, it's always nice to kind of, again, retool it so you can start with a little different momentum when we get into the January kind of winter lull on our menu, where we kind of re-energize the participation, the excitement around the menu, but also ease the stress and start the new year fresh. We love new beginnings, and I think this is a great segue into number one, allowing Sarah to talk about something other than compliance, but also welcome back, Dixie. We are so excited to have you with us today, and for you investing in your role supporting our tribe here. The vibe attracts your tribe, and Dixie is one that has always stood by the side of SNA, of Ohio, and all of us as school nutrition providers and professionals. So Dixie, super pumped to have you today. I'll pass it to Sarah.
Right. So I am excited to talk about something other than compliance and food safety, though I do really hold those things very close to my heart, and that's why I chat about them with you every single month. So our COG doing something good, we were able to get back in the schools and do taste testing. So I do like to have fun as well. I'm not all business and rules and regulations. So Dixie was able to come into town with Kodiak cakes, and we were able to sample these out in the schools. This is a really great product if you've never used it before. We went to some of my elementaries in Stowe, so we were able to get in there and make these products and then share them out with the kids, which I think was really fun. Ava was also able to participate in this day with us, which is always fun when we get to have interns see this process, that the job is not all just, HR and dealing with out of stocks and making sure everybody's washing their hands and wearing their hairnets, that there is fun parts of the job as well. So this is just us prepping the items to be able to share out with the kiddos. And we did do little surveys with them. So these were elementary age kids, so K through 4 in these buildings. So we tried to keep it nice and simple for them. We did get pretty good feedback numbers wise for the kids that took the samples and tried them. So I will pass it to Dixie to share a little bit about her experience.
Yeah, so if any of you guys have ever tried to make pancakes in the cafeteria and thought it's not possible, it is. We proved that point last week. Sarah and I and Ava had a great time getting back into the schools, proving that question, and just passing along just some of our results and findings as to what we found is to take a couple of our retail products that are now available in food service and cook them up in the back of the kitchen in the cafeteria. So it was a lot of fun. It was great to see the kids again. For me personally, it's probably been about 2 years since I've set foot inside a kitchen. So it was, as you guys all know, I'm very passionate about school food service, especially in Ohio. It was great to see the kids again and great to get back out there with the cafeteria staff. Our findings, we concluded that you are able to make pancakes in the kitchen. And it was very, very easy as well. The surveys and the results we got back from the kids, speak to the need. As you guys are going through these trying times with out of stocks and labor issues and distribution issues and things like that, look for different ways, be creative, jazz it up a little bit, and try something a little new. This was, I call it the iconic pancake flip. So in trying, the 2 schools that we were in did not have access to griddles. So what we did here is we did them in a half sheet pan, baked them for about 15, 16, 17 minutes, somewhere around there. They turned out great. And then we flipped them over to be able to show the chocolate chips, because in the product in the sheet pan, the chocolate chips do actually fall. But it was a quick and easy way to cut the bars. We called them pancake breakfast bars. We flipped it out, and she did a great job in that kitchen.
So here's the surveys. I went through all of them with the kids. So I will preface this by saying that this school district is a grab and go cold breakfast district. So top selling item in this district by a landslide is Pop-Tarts. Very, very, very hard to compete with Pop-Tarts. It does not matter. You can make homemade cinnamon rolls and glaze them, and the whole kitchen smells of delicious, yummy cinnamon, and the kids still come through and pick the Pop-Tarts. So I preface that so that you can see that the numbers, so 34% of them said that they loved the flavor. To me, that's huge, right? That we could grab 34% of the kids that would typically just take a Pop-Tart, which as a dietitian, they don't have protein in them and they are full of sugar and very overly processed and have a lot of ingredients that you would probably be asking me what that is. And I would have to go back to my chemistry textbook to tell you. So that was huge. 37% said that they loved the texture. Again, I think that that's great when we're talking about kids that typically want a cold grab and go option. And then 44% of them said that they would actually select this over the Pop-Tarts for breakfast. That to me is a win because this product has really clean ingredients. It's whole grain. It's much, much lower in sugar than Pop-Tarts. And it actually does have protein in it. So I think that that was a huge win, especially when you look at a K-4 building. Huge that the kids were willing to take these. So the biggest little comments, so they did a lot of the kids wrote us little comments on the bottoms of the paper, which I thought was really cute. They wanted syrup. Now, I know a lot of us are serving in the classroom, in particular in this district. There is no way I'm going to be allowed to serve syrup cups with these pancakes. So we did think through topping them with some maple cinnamon sprinkles, or glazing them ahead of time so that the kids aren't taking those maple syrup dip cups back to the classroom where they get spilled and make everything sticky and cause ants and stuff to come into the rooms, especially in a K-4 building where the classrooms are typically carpeted. So there are options for that. I think that I think older kids would mind them without the syrup, but it's really hard to serve breakfast items to little kids without syrup. So those are just some options to think through if you'd want to serve these and you're in a district like I am, where we're not allowed to send syrup to the classroom. All right, so I will pass it back to Dixie to talk a little bit about, if you're interested, how you can actually get these items on your menu.
Yeah, so once again, just to talk through the nutrition of the product, I mean, what does Kodiak really bring to your menu? It's going to bring value. It's going to bring a brand name that your students are going to know, your parents especially are going to love, and it's going to be a nutritious, better for you option. So as Sarah said, versus a Pop-Tart, we are 100% whole grain. We are added protein. The two pancake mixes that we tested last week, we tested a chocolate chip and we tested our buttermilk. Both of those have 14 grams of added protein. So it does sustain the kids for the rest of the day and give them that added protein. Our calories are very low. And we don't use any, it's all clean label is basically what I'm trying to say there. But we have cleaner label products. Another product that we thought might be good for the schools is a birthday cake. So we have a birthday cake. It's either a protein ball or a pancake mix. And sorry guys, my phone's ringing here. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm going to jump in while her phone rings because I was able to try some of these, and you all know my 8-year-old is like my little litmus test. So guess what Addie did this week, Dixie? This is your first time hearing this. She did her own meal prep on Sunday. We made a batch of Kodiak cakes because I wanted to see how they would handle in the freezer and go freezer to warm, even just on the small family scale, and it was a hit. So she used a little, I know you saw on one of those slides, pancake dropper. So anything that involves a mechanism or a tool she can use. Like she is her father's daughter in that regard, like love to use the little pancake dropper, and then really was able to see and make that opportunity happen for her breakfast for this week and loved it. She did love the birthday cake flavor. I will say that it's a very positive vanilla forward with chocolate chips in it already. And one of the things the team didn't say is we were already starting to talk about, okay, if you can't do maple syrup, can you do the cinnamon maple sprinkles that we know all of us have on our shelves from Trade East? A lot of us use that on our making our sweet potato fries taste good, or just in general have used it in other recipes, and it's in our pantry. So dusting with a simple maple cinnamon sugar sprinkle and or powder sugar. We had people talking about drizzling a little bit of chocolate or a little a glaze like you would do on a cinnamon roll and having it look pretty, similar to how folks were dressing their whole grain richest donuts. But as a mom, I'm going to just call it out, Dixie. We go to Costco. We get in that sample line, we eat this, and so it's something that's very brand forward from a parent's perspective. And certainly when a parent has any interest in a quality, they're going to look to this brand and know that it is going to bring a rich quality and a brand name that they're used to either seeing in their own store shelves or purchasing for their home use. And again, elevating that brand recognition, that quality recognition that we want our school breakfasts to espouse to, so we get the kids to participate. So I'll pass it back to you to kind of talk to people about next steps.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. I'm also going to note Holly McGarry. I know you guys know Holly. She is our broker with Waypoint. Where you can get the products, we have 3 mixes in stock at Gordon's, with another 50 or so items coming available through the Dot Foods program with their EPO program. And then also Holly's already been talking to Cisco as well. So we can access the product through Dot Foods to get it to you guys. We're very new to school nutrition, and we're very new to the food service industry as Kodiak. But we are that huge retail presence and retail brand. So you'll have no problem there, as Maureen said, with the name branding. If you are an HPS member, we are partnered with HPS, and we do have a program in place that's very new. That's just in the last 30 days or so. But if anybody wants to try some Kodiak cakes in the kitchen, reach out to myself or Holly. We can definitely get you some samples, get you some tools or some tricks, or, you know, give you some recipe ideas to try it in the back of the house and see if it works. As I said before, you know, if you're having issues getting some frozen pancakes or waffles, try some of ours in the back of the house. There's different ways to do it. And we proved the question that it can be done. So Sarah, anything else you want to add?
No, just thank you so much for the opportunity. It was so fun to go back into the kitchen and do some of the things that I think we episodic partners really enjoy doing and have really missed since everything the world went a little topsy-turvy in the last 20 months. So
yeah, amen to that. I just see Holly McGarry pop on, so I have got to give, you know, a chance for Holly to unmute herself and just say hello to everybody, because she has been a road warrior in school nutrition and ultimately has probably missed the opportunity to see you all in person as well. We all know she is your girl to give you information about costing and rebates and fun things. And we also have been brainstorming ways, you know, we talk about that Christmas wish list and ways to invest in small wares. We're also giving some ideas, you know, like those pancake droppers, some bowls, some whisks. So Holly, unmute and just you get the floor for a couple of moments here to kind of say hi to everybody about this new opportunity.
Hello, sorry about that. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Dixie and I were kind of excited. We were brainstorming one day and I'm like, hey, let's call Maureen and see if there's an opportunity to go up there and do some testing. So I know you guys are always open to playing around with some items and recipes. So I think that was a great way to test. Like Maureen said, we are certainly happy to come around and do some samplings or some behind the scenes testing to see how we can make this work in your kitchen as we start to figure out how Kodiak fits with K-12. So anything we can do to help support. And of course, any of the other lines too, if I can help with products, samplings, commodities, just reach out. I'm here.
So we love it. You know, takes a village. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Dixie, Holly, thank you for spending time with us today. Again, lean into all the information we just shared and reach out even to any of your Pasonic partners to kind of connect you with Dixie and Holly. We care tremendously about your success. And so we are going to move into some more resources and supports because we hope, you know, it's kind of that time of holiday giving. I love that Bob Gorman has joined us, and he is always an inspiration. And notice that his little salad bar was like the backdrop of our last slide, little insider. You know, we love to celebrate all the wonderful things you do. And we know we have a rich resource. And I know a long time ago I picked on Jess and I made her come and do a live event when we were able to be in person. And I told her, talk about your production records. You do them so well. And so I feel like Oprah Winfrey with Adele. Like, you're my Adele. You're my Adele, Jess. You are like the inspiration, your voice of hope and options. And so I feel like I'm a little bit of a proud, hostess for you today. And we're going to give Jess the floor as we conclude with some resources, because you know what better resources than the people around us. And Jess, you have always been such a support to not only your system at Woodridge Middle School, obviously the district at its entirety, and anytime you're willing to give us your pearls of wisdom from the boots on the ground lens, I am so excited to have you be able to share some insider insights into how you have continued, despite everything, despite it all, to maintain your team morale. So I know you guys have some announcement going on back there, but I'm gonna pass it to you and mute myself and let you guys talk a little bit about your year so far and what you aspire for the new coming opportunities.
Thank you, Maureen. So hi, I'm Jess Stone. I'm the kitchen manager at the Woodridge Middle School. I've been with the district for about 20 years now, and half of them have been as a manager. We have about 450 kids in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And I have seen so many awesome team members come and go over the years. This year, I have 3 wonderful ladies. I'm a wonderful sub and a fantastic cafeteria monitor. So I consider them all part of our team. Most of them have been with me from way before the pandemic hit, but I have 1 new hire this year. So we are still finding our way together as a team. So we try to keep strengthening that. So this year I filled out a questionnaire and had everyone answer it so we could learn a little bit more about each other since she was new. I also gifted everyone a matching flower hair accessory that I like to wear as well. It's really fun when the girls wear it, and we've all kind of connected a little bit more. Even though it's something little, we really connected with it. So I want to talk about a few more things that I do to help myself and the girls have a positive attitude and our customer service on point. I'm very passionate about taking advantage of new items and recipes to keep the kids interested and excited for lunch, whether it's a new fruit or veggie or a hot side, a holiday themed item. I'm always the first to volunteer to try it out. So I always invite the girls to sample the item as well, because I want them to know the story behind it. I want them to be able to encourage the kids to take it and answer any questions that the kids might have. So we really look forward when we have a new item to serve and see how the kids react to it. I always like to group text the girls whenever I need to tell them about an announcement, a work schedule, a shirt that we need to wear, or sometimes just to thank them for a very stressful day. It keeps us all together in our responses and it builds our communication. We do have several matching Lunch Lady shirts that we like to wear together. I'm always trying to think of some fun things that help build our relationship as a team. I'm also very enthusiastic when it comes to being silly and dressing up. The kids love to see us dress up.
Last call for 25A. Last call for 25A.
We love to see them smile or laugh or compliment us. We love decorating even a little for any holiday or special day. It's fun to see the kids notice, and it brightens up our kitchen and brightens up our mood. We always have a giveaway with like a zombie ice cream cup, a themed cookie, a fun frozen juice cup to represent the holiday. This breaks up the menu and is always fun for the team to do. The kiddos love a treat. So these are some of the days that we celebrate every year, and we'll keep doing them as long as we can. I always try to get a group picture of us, and that's always fun to look back on. If I could make a picture book of all these happy memories, I sure would. So we do Apple Crunch Day. Of course, we're farm girls. We have local apples, homemade apple crisp. We always do an October Pink Out Day for breast cancer, which is a plus because it gives me an opportunity to talk to the girls about how important it is for our health. The school always has Spirit Week at least twice a year. We like to participate along with the kids for that, for each theme. And of course, Pajama Day is one of our favorites. We have Fun Apron Friday of your choice to change up the same old work aprons. Even though we do wear matching aprons every day, it's fun to bring in something different, and it's super fun. November, we usually have a food drive. So we have our own box to contribute items, and we always like to do some type of a Thanksgiving meal with a little bit of extra fixings before the break. Christmas week is full on with holiday themed shirts, aprons, and hats. And the week before spring break and the last week of school is always tropical tie-dye vacation attire. Some random days are thought up to break along when there's a long stretch, like World Series, Super Bowl, Cinco de Mayo, maybe crazy pizza menu. So that's fun. Not every day is a perfect team day, and that's okay. We push through. Some days are just hard, but planning for a dress-up day or a theme day always gives us something to look forward to. When I talk to anyone about my job, I always try to use team words to acknowledge our strength. Kindness, humor, positivity make for a good day. So I always try to do those 3 things. When we share a laugh together, it makes me feel so great. I make an effort to compliment or reinforce good work every single day to each of my girls. I always thank them before they leave, stressing the importance of their contribution. I like to bring in little tokens of appreciation for the girls too. That's the flower again. But I always bring them the same thing, and I leave it for them back on our table. I try to do something small every week, a beverage, a treat, a candy, a treasure, a trinket, a fresh cut flower. I love doing this, and it makes me excited and happy for that day. I want to see them smile and know how much I appreciate them. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. I do feel like Oprah because I'm all teary over here. You are so sweet, Miss Jess. This has been a wonderful way to really give you a voice that I think others will learn from, because you are our optimistic, essential hero. Always, we thank you for what you do, not only for the community you serve, but serving others by sharing these important words of wisdom that I think sometimes we forget in all of the other stuff that we are bogged down with. So I just really, from the bottom of Pasonic Partners team, the idea of having gratitude in your attitude could not be exemplified better than what you just spoke of. So again, from our heart to yours, we appreciate you being willing to do this. This is a picture of what Jess does, right? So you either take on the optimistic, solution-focused way to get things done, or you can not, and trust me, you're going to live a happier, healthier, again, that idea of the amount of waking hours and the choice to feel essential, to feel of the utmost importance, to be valued, to have an enjoyable day. When life hands you a lack of egg patties, Jess makes sheet eggs. That is the picture of her continuing to make the impossible possible during shortages, where she did, what we see happening on social media, schools learning new techniques to use liquid eggs, cutting them, and still giving her students in her district something they really enjoy, which is a hot breakfast sandwich. And so I just, again, can't thank you enough for your efforts. There are egg patties in stock now. So, Kathy Zucchelli did want me to say they're in stock. But if you happen to have love and labor and time, this is a backup plan. And maybe some of those schools that lack the resources or the efforts might benefit from those egg patties, and you can sheet eggs some of the time. So anyway, we love you. We love your work. And certainly the last thing I want to say is just as a nod to your farm girl, I love all that you have done to support local. This is a slide that ODE actually put out. And again, I'm going to put you back to that download forums. If you missed the USDA webinar, that was Tuesday. This is a Cliff Notes version today. We kind of splattered some of the blessings that were discussed on that webinar throughout today's episode of What's Up Wednesday Live. We would be remiss at Pasonic if we didn't give a plug for local. So this is Cincinnati Public Schools thermometer. And despite the adversity of what we all know we've been through the past couple of years, as you see their school years, they have continually increased their purchases of local produce. And so why I'm saying that is because, again, we have the opportunity to really look at the local supply chain to help offset some of the frustrations we've had with some of the out of stocks. Not to totally replace things, but to really build a safety net around some of those local products like the Dogo's Pizza and the Terry Pizza Bagel, now with new City Mini option, and certainly produce that allows us to feel very proud about what we do. Perhaps, put on a farm costume and call it the Farm to Table Day, Farm to School Day, and do a theme like Jess is saying, something that brings and elevates the spirit of your team and the quality of your food, the story of the mission behind your school food service, which at this time of the year, we're all gearing up to, of course, I hope, thank one another for the work we continue to do. Thanks our parents for the opportunity to serve their kids, and really kind of shift into heartfelt gratitude. We thank you. We know you're busy. We appreciate your time today, as always. Again, for those of you who joined us a little later, this will be recorded, and all the resources, the links will be shared out with you as a member of Team Pasonic. If you haven't signed up for our What's Up Wednesday on our website, I'm certain you did, because you are zoomed in today. Stay tuned. We're looking at some efficiencies for the new year, whereas next time you might be able to just click yes, I'm registered, and it'll show up on your calendar. We're trying to make ways for you to connect, for you to communicate, for you to innovate, and you to focus on solutions even easier as we move through this year and into the new year. So we are almost up against the hour. I am looking at the chat. I am certainly appreciating all of the feedback. Jess is the best. I agree. Dixie, let's connect via email. If you didn't see that, Jeff Owens wants to talk to you, which is a good thing. And I see you're responding. So we love to be, again, the tribe that attracts the Good Vibe Tribe, and all the resources from manufacturer to distributor to supervising and consulting you. And then last but not least, a special wholehearted thank you to Jess for the warrior work you're doing and your willingness to share a little sunshine with us today. We thank you all for your time, and I am here available if you want to take yourself off of mute. Thank Jess like I did, because again, I felt